ate.
Yes,
Oh, Doda.
yes,
Well,
definitely.
because they know me all of Doda Lina.
Doda Lina?
Can.
I thought you were Atelina.
Yes, it's English. In Hebrew, it's Doda.
Doda is mother, mama,
It's
mama.
no, ante, tita, tita,
Ante,
tita, tita.
tita.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly why I was gonna call you. Why I
Mm-hmm.
was gonna ask you. Why do they call you
Yeah.
aunt?
Well, because that's in Hebrew, Doda. It means tita, auntie,
Auntie.
aunt. Yeah.
And why do they call you auntie?
Yeah, because I'm the not only the age, I'm the eldest in the. I'm oldest here in the society.
So when did you arrive to Israel?
I think I arrived here 1996, 1988.
So that's many years.
Many years.
Were you married then?
I was married in the Philippines, but we are not get marriage in church. We just only live in for 85, 88 for 3 years. We are living in the Philippines. When I came here, my husband is already here, so we got married here in the church in the Saint Anthony Church
In Jaffa.
in Japa.
Oh, that must be a
That was
beautiful wedding.
1988.
And how was it then? Here, the Filipino community, were a lot of people.
In that time, there is no. A few Filipinos are here. A few. Not.
And how did you come? I mean, was it through an agency at that time?
Yeah, before there is no agency. When we came here, there is no agency. I have a sister-in-law ahead from me here, and she's the one who find an employer, and then they send us the visa there, and then we come here. Yeah, but we have already an employer, but there is no agency yet. No agency, just direct. It's direct hiring.
When did the agency start working?
The agency, I think, it start in 1988. I think 90. I think 1990 or 92, something. Supposed to be 90 to 92. They start the agency, but there is no yet agency fee. No collection of agency, no collecting agency fee.
And you are very involved in your community here. Before coming to Israel, were you also doing similar social
In the Philippines?
in the Philippines social work?
Yeah, in the school. In the school, during high school. So I'm already in the, if there's a juniors and seniors prom, I'm also officer of in the school.
And when you arrived here, did you start working in the social affairs immediately, or did it take you time to start being involved in the community to do
No.
social work?
No, the community starts only, I think, early 2000, 2000, something that. So there is no community yet in that time, in 1988 to 1990, 92. Because the Filipino here is a few. I think there is no 500 Filipinos here.
When you first came?
Yeah.
And how many are there now?
Now I think more or less 30,000, more or less.
In one of the magazines for the Filipino guest workers, I have seen an advice from a Filipino guest worker who just arrived in Saudi Arabia, and it was saying what you should do not to feel lonely in a country where you are very new. Here you've been so many years, but you are one of the first people to come. And there are some people, maybe you were lucky because your partner was here, but there are so many people who come here alone. What do they experience in the beginning?
In the beginning, they are homesick. They are homesick, but we did not take the homesick. That 1 month to 3 months to 6 months, it's a big homesick for for the foreigners because they separate to their family, to their children. So it's a very big homesick. You cannot imagine.
Yes, it must be. And once a Filipino worker comes here, they are not only coming to Tel Aviv, sometimes they're going to small towns,
Yeah,
which is not connected to Tel Aviv.
yeah.
So, and 6 days of the week they are working there. So how do they get in touch with other Filipinos in the country?
Before it's very difficult because there is no cell phone before, there is no computer before, so it's very desperate if you are in a far place.
For example, when you first came, not the first year, but maybe the second and third year, did you get surprised when you met some other Filipinos coming from other parts of Israel to Tel Aviv?
Yeah. So they start down the Saturday nights, the day off nights, the day off.
So Saturdays is always a day off for every
No,
Filipino.
some if your employer is religious, so Friday you will go out, Saturday you will come back.
Okay.
So some also Saturday and then Sunday is coming back. So
But there's always 1 day break.
yeah, 24 hours 24 hours before. Now they approved the 26 hours, and then I think now the agency make it 36 hours. But some of the employer doesn't agree the 36 hours.
And have you heard of any cases that some employer doesn't want the worker to have any break at all?
Yes,
And
yes.
what
But
happens then?
yeah, it depends on you. If you don't want to go out, the employer paid it. They will pay. If the employer she needs you in the 7 days, so what can you do? So you will stay, but they will pay it.
They will pay. And if something happens at home and the guest worker thinks that they are asking her to work too much, or if something happens and they didn't pay, how does she look for her right in this situation?
Before they will go to the agency, and if the agency did not attend to this complaint, so they go to the kablaw bed. So the kablaw bed now is the one who will call the employer. So the kablaw bed now is the one who will make to speak to the employer. And I think they settled it also.
When I was in Lebanon, there's also a big Filipino community there. And in Beirut, I realized that there were shops where they were selling uniforms for guest workers. So they were forced to wear uniforms at home when they were working in their employer's house. Do you have anything like that
No.
in Israel?
Here in Israel,
No.
it's different. It's not even what you use. They don't.
And which part of the Philippines are you from?
I came from Bicol region, and I think in Masbate. It's in a part of Bicol. It's in Luzon, because Philippines is Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So we are in Luzon, but it's in Bicol region, Region 5.
Region 5. And is the Filipino community here divided into these sections? Clearly divided?
Yes, that's why the organization is, if you are Ilocano, their association is Samahang Ilocano. So like the Ilonggo tribes, that's a Bisaya. It's in another Visayas region.
And as far as I know, the accent of the language is also
Yeah, it's different. It's
very
different. Yeah. Even me, example, I'm in Bicol, so I have also my dialect. the Samani Ilocano, they have also their own dialect. And the Ilonggo tribe they have also their own
But do
dialect.
they understand each other?
No.
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 And how do you communicate?
It's
Sometimes with English?
we communicate it by the Tagalog.
Tagalog.
Yeah.
The main.
The main is the Tagalog.
And also English is a very important
Yeah.
language, no?
Yeah,
In the community.
yeah. The English in the Philippines is our second
Mother tongue.
mother tongue. This the first is the Tagalog and then the English.
And people, when they're speaking, they mix English with Tagalog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
normal.
yeah,
Also
yeah.
in the Philippines.
Tagless, we call this tagless.
Taglish?
Yeah,
English.
Tagalog English.
Is this because of the American influence on the country after the
Maybe,
Second World War?
maybe because in the Philippines, when your daughter is or the children is only 3 years old, you start to go to nursery. So in the nursery, they start to teach English. From the start, they will go to the nursery. The teacher already teach this English if you go to the private school. But in the public school, not so. But
Not so.
yeah, but in grade 1, they start also to teach also the English.
And popular culture is very important, pop culture in the Philippines. And how important are beauty pageants in the Philippines?
It's very important.
Why is that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, because in the Philippines, the television always there is always competition of the beauty contest, and in the to search artist, to search actress. So they start for this competition to find become an actress. So, like we also like Aurora Pejuan is I think she's first Filipino who
To be the Miss Universe?
Miss Universe, Aurora Pejuan.
So Philippines is very famous of producing Miss World.
Yeah, Miss Earth, Miss
Earth.
World.
But is it also related with trying to appear more modern?
Yeah, if we are following the how the culture of the American, automatic we are also adopting the culture of the American.
And are there people in the Philippines criticizing this?
No,
No?
no, but only about the beauty, right? This, but if like here the open country that even you are not husband and wife, only girlfriend, even in the street they are making kissing. It's not allowed in the Philippines. That in the street,
In the public?
in the public, it's not allowed. Yeah.
How
They,
is
they
it
criticize the olds.
conservative?
It's very conservative. Yes.
This building that we are in is the central bus station. It was built as a bus station, and it was also built as a shopping mall, and mostly for all the citizens of this city, Tel Aviv. But in years it changed, and it became more the public space more for the
Foreigners.
guest workers.
Yeah, for the foreigners. Yes, because this is the center. So when the foreigner, the workers, the OFW go to go back to came here from the employer from Netanya. So the bus station is here. So and then they put a business for business establishment for the foreigners that the foreigners use, like there in the third floor, fourth floor. They call this Avenida Avenue. You know what is Avenida Avenue? It's in the part of Manila. Yeah, it's a part of Manila. They have Avenida Avenue, because all the foods, all the things that we can get it from the Philippines, we can get it here now in this area, the fourth floor.
But when you were here before the Tahana Merkazit opened, the Tahana Merkazit.
When no,
when did it open?
I think this tachana merkazit start only the war, the Gulf War is 2000, I think. The Gulf War, you remember the Gulf War?
Yes.
It's 2000.
1990. No, Gulf
Uh,
War was
1990. 1990.
1990.
Nah, yeah.
10 years.
Yeah. So this is the 1990. I think it's building this one.
So how was it in the beginning? Were there a lot of shops for the guest workers at that time?
No, they just only built new because the takana before is there, the old takana.
Yes.
So there is no takana here yet. So this, I think they built this before the Gulf War, I think.
And when they built, there were a lot of shops. And were they? What kind of shops were there? Were they for the Israelis or were they for the guest workers?
No, it's like this already.
Really?
It's like this, but the third floor, the fourth floor is not yet like this now.
So the more people came from the Philippines and
then
other countries, then more shops opened for
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
people.
They also open for the shop of the Nepalis, then the shop of the India, the Chinese. So they made a little bit built a new because the Nepal is only, I think they came only the Nepal is 2004, 2005, 2004 I think.
And now it's really major headquarters for the guest workers, especially in Saturdays, in Shabbat. But is the administration of the building sometimes being complaining about this, that there are so many guest workers here?
No,
They have no problem.
no complaint. But they have a lot of things that you cannot do. Like for example, the cigarette. The cigarette now, they make cigarette here inside the takana. It's not allowed.
And what else? It's not allowed?
To make dirt,
Garbage.
yeah.
And
And they have a law that Friday at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, this is closed. The takana is closed. 4 or 5, something like that.
and when does it open again?
Saturday around 4 o'clock also.
And that's when the guest workers come,
Yeah.
shops open,
Yeah.
and the nightclubs also
Yeah,
open.
the disco. So the start of the foreigners' enjoyment.
Enjoyment. And at that time, I realized there are not so many Israelis in the Tahana. Saturday night or
Now.
Sunday.
Yeah, because the Israeli, as I heard that this is the place now of the foreigners.
It's separated for.
No, but they are also coming here, but not that a lot of foreigners, a lot of Israeli came.
And you stayed more than 10 years. Many people I talked to stayed at least more than 3 or 4 years. Is this
4.5
normal?
or 5.5. Yeah, I stay for more because I have only one employer.
Since the beginning?
Yeah. If your employer died and you are already 4.5 here, so they don't want to give you a
new visa.
But if your employer is still alive until now, even how many years you are here, but only one employer, no transfer to another employer, you can stay.
So if you have one employer, it's easy to stay.
Yeah.
But if you transfer.
Transfer.
Every time you transfer.
No, if you transfer, if you are already 2 years, you transfer, it's okay. But if you are already 4.5 years and you transfer, they don't give you a visa. Even your employer died in that time, the limited time, so you cannot, unless that your employer, she has a sister, it's a family. they can transfer the visa of this sister.
Relate.
Yeah, so you can stay more. But
So
if
that means all the people who are here more than 5 years, that means they're always with the same employer.
yeah,
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
it's your for more than 5 years here, and the employer died, you will become illegal.
And the other thing I'm curious about, it's a female dominant community, Filipino community. It's very strong female, of course, because of the type of the job, I think, because it's caregivers.
Yeah.
And there are many single ladies here. Not all of them are with their husbands back in the Philippines. And they are sometimes here for a long time.
They're old maid.
Do they find themselves sometimes husbands from the Israeli community, or do they tend to more stay inside the other immigrant communities?
Yes, some is some they take Thailander, they take Chinese, and they have also friend the Israeli.
And is it easy to marry an Israeli as a Filipino guest
Yeah,
worker?
yeah. But if you if the but the if the Israeli married you and they fix your papers, so you can stay. But if you're only living into the Israeli, so it's nothing. Even you are with the boyfriend of Israeli and you don't have visa and the immigration catch you, no, your boyfriend cannot.
In Germany, the Turkish immigrants who go there and who have a problem with the visa, they try to find somebody to marry, a German girl or a German boy. And they get a visa.
Yeah.
And
It's easy, but it's easy. Here it's very hard.
Here it's very hard.
Yeah.
Why is it hard? Because of the person not being Jewish.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know what is the reason of this.
So it's not something that a lot of Filipino girls are trying to do for visa.
If the Israeli give his if he is divorced, so he can marry again. So they will marry to this girl, the Filipina, and they will fix the papers to the Misrada Pinib. So we will become an Israeli.
But if two Filipinos, a Filipino girl and a Filipino man, marry here and have children, do they have the same rights as a married Israeli couple?
No, that's now the immigrants fight for this immigrants for the children, because only once they give immigrants for the foreigners. Only once. Last 2005, I think, they give immigrants for the foreigners from age of 10 above.
What do they give them?
The immigrants, the temporary residents.
Temporary residence. And now it's
Now
not
they are all
possible.
now they are fighting again, but they are they don't know if they will give, they will refuse. So that's why they are fighting now for this. There is 1,200 families. I think they are fighting for this.
Rights.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a leader of the community, officially and unofficially. I'm sure a lot of people come to you asking for help. I'm sure you're very experienced to give them advice. What is the most common question for help you get from the young ladies coming here?
Oh, no, the problems that I'm always asking for me is only the financial. The financial and the assistance. If there is a sick OFW and they want to go home, they don't have money, they don't have insurance for the hospital. So not only me, I'm only giving this because I'm the treasurer of the FFCI.
Okay.
So, so before I give the money, I make a decision, I will ask to the board if this is qualified to give, like that.
And how does the FFCI collect money from the community?
No, the FFCI collect money because if we have an activities, we ask a sponsor. So our major sponsor is the Western Union. So the Western Union, if we
It's
ask,
the money transfer.
yeah, if we make an activities, the Western Union ask how much the budget. So we will more or less we will say like this, like this, like this, and then we will give it the budget to the papers, the accounting to the Western Union, and example the budget is 7,000 for that event, 7,000 shekels for that event. So we ask them $3,000 or 2,005. If they will approve this, so they give to us that 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 uh, that money, the how what the FFCI ask how much we have in these events.
What is the OFW?
It's overseas Filipino workers.
Okay, it's a general name, term for
Uh-huh.
all of the people.
Yeah. It's overseas Filipino workers.
Okay, now let's get back to the man in the society. How does
You
how
know-
do the men feel being so little in the community? Is this a problem?
Yeah, that's why there is a 3 girls and 1 man. That's why they make fighting. But I don't know. I don't
don't
like
want
this because it's not my type.
But men also do caregiving work.
Yeah. Also for the men. Sometimes now the employer, if you are very heavy, the woman is very heavy, so they need a strong man to lift. So they take a man.
And the Filipino community here, do they 100% just doing caregiving job or other jobs as well?
Mostly because that's only the visa that they give to the caregiver, is only the qualified work here in Israel. That's only the caregiver has they give a permit.
So you are not allowed to work as something else.
Yeah.
But if, for example, you become very integrated to the society, Israeli society, and you want to open a business, is this possible? Some way?
It's impossible.
Impossible.
It's impossible. Ruby my friends can open because they are already temporary residents. They have already temporary residents. That's why they can open.
So also this restaurant.
Yeah, they have a husband Israeli.
I see. So
That's
they
why.
cannot open it themselves.
Themselves cannot open if you are not an Israeli.
And is it the same for all the shops here? Are
Yeah.
they all Israeli owners?
Yeah, with the wife of the Filipino.
How do you rent a house here as a Filipino guest worker? Is it problematic or is it easy?
It's easy. It's easy. Before, when in my time, it's very easy because it's very less
People.
less
The rents?
renting.
Okay, I see.
Now it's very expensive. Here in Tachana, you have only 1 room in one room and salon with a kitchen. You will pay 1,500 shekels.
So that's why a lot of people share the rent.
Yeah.
And they only sometimes use it for Saturdays.
Yeah.
So for paperwork to rent a house, can a Filipino guest worker rent directly from an Israeli?
No, there is an
homeowner?
agency. There is an agency of
Agency.
agency of the apartments.
But do you know any? There must be some guest workers who have a free day on a Saturday but cannot come to Tel Aviv. There are some people.
Yeah, in the far places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are doing in themselves? Do
No,
have gatherings?
they open the computer.
Yes.
Yeah, they are fan of computers, so
They are one of them.
they are more Facebook.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.